For more on the Middle East, we're now joined by Khodr Zaarour. He's a professor of political science and international relations at North Carolina State University. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor.
Thanks for having me.
First, I'd like to get your reaction to President Trump and the King of Jordan's meeting just a short time ago. Your thoughts on that, and what do you make of what was said and not said?
Well, I mean, in private meetings, we don't know what actually happened, but in public, we have seen the president demanding continuation of his remarks, and now those remarks seem to be coming into fruition to actual policies. The King of Jordan certainly was not pleased with these remarks, as his kingdom already facing a lot of challenges, economic, social challenges, and friction due to the war. Economic deterioration, and of course, rising prices. And adding millions of refugees forcibly out of their homes certainly would add to the pressure.
Talk to us about King Abdullah's role and position here. What do you think he was trying to share with the U.S. president without really stepping on what he was trying to convey in front of all the cameras?
Yeah, I think the king was trying to persuade the president to changing tone, changing rhetoric, changing views. That did not materialize. And I think the king decided toward the end, he said he will do whatever is in the best interest of his own country, which means they're waiting for the Arab summit, which is scheduled for February 27th in Cairo, before the decision is made as a collective voice for the Arab world against this forcing Palestinians out of their own homes.
How does this meeting calculate with the others that Trump had recently held with other regional leaders, Egypt's foreign minister on Monday, Israel's prime minister last week?
Certainly, it's contentious, for sure, contentious. The international community is really adding their voices against these policies or the rhetoric that's coming out of the White House. I think there's got to be increased international pressure against these moves because they are unilateralist moves. Certainly goes back to the 18 neo-colonial period where law of the jungle will triumph, but the world is reacting negatively against the president's position.
Professor, you mentioned February 27th with this big meeting, but we know that the ceasefire in Gaza is already at risk, both sides blaming the other for violations with threats, and then now this Saturday deadline being thrown around regarding the return of hostages. So what do you think is happening behind the scenes right now? What do you think that we will see in the coming days?
Well, I think it's a blame game. This is the period where you blame game. There is the first day is supposed to last 42 days. It hasn't been 42 days. And it's unreasonable for the president to change tone in the middle of the game and request 76 hostages to be released in one day. That was not the deal. And it's a security risk. It carries security risk to release everybody at the same time.
Donald Trump has been talking now for a few days about his plans for developing the Gaza Strip, moving Palestinians. But really, what is the reality of what can and cannot be done in Gaza?
Yeah, this is really unrealistic, certainly. I mean, first he said he wants to buy the Strip district, the Gaza district. Then he said he's going to take it over. We don't know what that means. It's not owned by one person or country or community. It belongs to the international status, international law. It belongs to the Palestinian people. Even previous Israeli leaders did not want to take over the Gaza Strip. They realized it's very sensitive. It's very difficult to evacuate people. So the president has a lot of explaining to do when it comes to those remarks that he said. We don't have a clear direction. He doesn't have a sense of what's next step is or steps are in the future. So for now, it's wait and see how the world reacts and if the president shows any flexibility in toning down his remarks.
Professor Khodr Zaarour, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.